We now take a look at some of the topics or stories that have been discussed online on our Trends segment. Wahiga Mwaura now joins us live from the newsroom to give us a little brief on what he's been following
Janet,
for us. Wahiga, good to have you with us tonight. Tell us about Trends tonight.
Good. Isn't the newsroom very peaceful and quiet without Hussein Mohammed, don't you think?
Oh my goodness, I'm struggling to hear you, Wahiga, unfortunately.
Let me say that again. Isn't the newsroom very peaceful and quiet without Hussein Mohammed?
Yes, it has.
Yes.
It's been. We miss him, but I'll tell him you said that when he gets back, just so that you two have a little squabble. But yeah, go on.
You tell him, and I'll look for a funny picture of him just so that I get back at him in an appropriate manner. But let's take a look at what's been trending this week. And bearing in mind, let's talk a bit about Centum, an investment group. And for them, the big story was that they announced, or at least the story was on social media, that they were going to give a bonus to their employees of between 11 million to 35 million. Of course, Kenyans on Twitter went out to get their remarks, and some of them were saying that, take a look at the traffic near Kenyatta Hospital, it's so slow. Did Centum employees buy cars for their cars? So that's interesting thought there. We carry on. The latest pickup line is, hey girl, I work at Centum. I don't know if that would work for you, Janet.
Oh, come on, Wahiga, come on.
And finally, on the Centum note, si watu wa Centum walipe walimu. So, of course, Kenyans on Twitter trying to be smart again. Sometimes the humor is in bad taste depending on which side of the spectrum you fall in such a debate. But still, it was a big talking point for the last 1 week. Let's cross over now, and it seems a lot of our discussions today are about money. The presence of money or the absence of one. And when President Uhuru Kenyatta gave a ruling on the way forward with the teachers, some people went onto social media with the hashtag when Sossion becomes president. And this is what they had to say. Presidential speeches and the budget would be written on blackboards.
Oh gosh.
So I don't know what you think about that. We carry on. When Sossion becomes president, he will call a strike against his government. Food for thought. We carry on. Feel free to interrupt me anytime, Janet. When Sossion becomes president, teachers will earn both standing and sitting allowances. I don't know how that would work. They'll be earning 24/7. And Sossion also contributed to a discussion about him by saying that, wait a minute, I am already a president of the Education International African chapter. Wow. That's how powerful Kenyans on Twitter are. We talk about you and you have no choice but to respond. We carry on with teacher. Swale Mdoi also made a guest appearance. When the declaration was made by the president, someone came up with this picture and said, Shule zilizofungwa, AA driving school, and Tahidi High. And the idea was that Swale read that. Of course he didn't, but funny nevertheless. And also, an interesting one here for people who are in relationships, especially men. If your wife asks for money for shopping, pull an Uhuru on her. Tell her that wives in Uganda are given 400 shillings for shopping. Those in Burundi, 150. Atosheke na hiyo 1K.
Oh dear.
So Janet, what would you do there?
Flipping the script completely as usual. No, I don't think I'll comment on that one, but that's also
You're not going to comment on that one?
Very clever.
All right. Well, we're staying with money. This was actually trending today. The hashtag is SportPesa Jackpot. A gentleman called George Mwangi actually walked away with 29 million Kenya shillings. And Kenyans are saying that's his dustbin at the moment. It's full of cash. He can afford to throw it some away. We move on to another one on the same topic. Of course, merging SportPesa with the teacher situation. Kaimeni, Honorable Kaimeni is pleading with George Mwangi to help pay the teachers. I mean, I don't know where people come up with
I know, and they're so fast at coming up with these memes.
It takes a minute. Whatever you and I say today might be made into a cartoon shortly.
Yeah, a meme in like seconds. It's already a meme. It's crazy.
So we need to be careful about that. And the last one is how you would dance if you won the SportPesa Jackpot. I don't know if you... Does that...
What's that?
So, I know people can't see Francis Gashuri, but he reckons that looks like you.
Oh wow, Francis, thank you.
Is there
Gashuri,
any resemblance?
You know, I was going to win that money and share some with you, but now look, you've gone and just dissed me, so it's okay.
Good. Well, we take a look at pictures that were circulating on the internet over the last 1 week. Now this we can ask Janet about what's your take on that Nigerian movie, that's a baby bump, realistic or not?
Oh my goodness, I can barely see. It's a little far, it doesn't look real from here.
Have you ever found yourself in such a situation before? I think that's a big question.
In what situation? Where I have a baby bump?
Okay. We carry on. Hussein's not here, so I'm not going to be too harsh on you. This is the new way of taking selfies. If you don't have a smartphone, you get a broom, you get a friend to hold the broom for you, and the phone as well. and you get a selfie and you post it on the internet and we all think you're very cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Love it.
All right, so some advice to you who doesn't have a smartphone, you can actually try that out. Now this one's interesting. I'm going to read for you word for word to get the message out properly. Steve Morioki tweeted, leo after church, pastor ameniuliza hii simu yangu ni ya pesa ngapi, na juu nilinunua na 25k, na staki ajue niko na doo, mimi hutoa sadaka na tithe kidogo, so it barely gives, money to the church. Nikamwambia simu ni ya 5k. Sahi amenipa 10k, now that's the pastor, ni nunue yake na bibi yake. What would you do if you were Steve Morioki?
Oh no. What would you do, Wahiga? That's what I want to know.
You tell the truth, because everything you do after that is a lie.
Yeah.
I posed this earlier to some friends in the newsroom. Some were saying, tell him it's on offer. Others, and the offer ended as he handed you the money.
Oh yeah, that's
so
probably the best one then.
That's probably which is also a lie.
Yeah.
So you've lied twice to your pastor. So you need to be careful about that. We move on, and before we wind up, this is a prayer. Dear Lord, lend me 20 million from my future money. It's urgent.
Don't we all wish?
If you're ever in debt. So I told you today we're talking about cash quite a bit on trends. And so those are some of the stories that were happening this week. But we wind up trends on a rather somber note with a tribute to Nana Gishuru. I'm sure, of course, you've heard the story. It's actually been discussed quite a bit on social media. She worked for Kenya Airways, a prolific actress, and Kenya has lost a great soul today. And of course, on behalf of Trends, the Big Question family, and Citizen TV, we feel it's only appropriate that we pay our tribute to her and send our condolences to her family and friends.
Absolutely. Heartbreaking. And like you said, condolences to her family and friends. Thank you so much for that, Wahiga, tonight.
Thank you. I must say I have enjoyed Trends with you without that noisy Hussein Mohammed. Wherever he is, I wish him well. He can take his time, but of course, we'll go head-to-head with him when he comes back. Tell him I'm ready and I'm practicing.
All this is on tape, so, he's going to find out one way or another. But thank you so much for that, Wahiga.
Thank you.
Wahiga Moro, of course, taking us through Trends.